Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Asked and answered, June 18th. Let's get to it. Brett Bilek from Campbell, Ohio. Are you aware of the reason many weekday training camp practices will now be at 10:30 a.m., and do you like the change? Answer: This is what Coach Mike Tomlin said about that change when asked about it during veteran minicamp. Our day was pressed on the other side of the afternoon practice, and I just want to give the players an opportunity to do a better job of accommodating the fans while taking care of their bodies. A lot of times they're working to rehydrate after practice, but dinner was running up on them, and so they didn't have the appetite to eat. And so, we just feel like with the early practice schedule, it just creates an opportunity for better wellness and keeping guys upright and rolling. As for whether I like that time change at training camp, it's better for my personal workday schedule, but I don't believe for a second that factored into the decision at all. Keith Miller from Canton, North Carolina. What has been the Steelers' record in division games over the last 5 or 10 years? When was the last time they lost more than they won? Answer: The AFC North wasn't formed until 2002 when the addition of the expansion Houston Texans created a 32-team NFL that was divided up into 8 divisions of 4 teams apiece. Before that, the AFC Central Division sometimes included 4 teams, sometimes 5 teams, when Jacksonville was added as an expansion team for the 1995 season, and sometimes it included 6 teams, when Cleveland returned to the NFL starting with the 1999 season. The Steelers' all-time record versus AFC North opponents, from 2002 to 23, is 91-40-1. The last time the Steelers finished a season below .500 against division opponents was in 2009 when they were 2-4, and that's the only time they had a losing record against opponents from the AFC North. Mike Callender from Mooresville, Indiana. When do tickets for Friday Night Lights go on sale? I'm coming in from Indianapolis and I don't want to miss out. Answer: I want to begin this by getting some housekeeping out of the way. Friday Night Lights will be held at 7 p.m. on Friday, August 2nd, at Latrobe Stadium. And it's important to understand that the only responsibility the Steelers have when it comes to Friday Night Lights is to show up on time and conduct a regular training camp practice. Everything else, ticket sales, price of tickets, concessions, fireworks after practice, all are handled by the Greater Latrobe School District. Even though I have no specific information for you about ticket sales, I'll provide you with some insight gleaned from experience. I never ever remember anyone being turned away from admission to Latrobe Stadium for Friday Night Lights. Never. There is bleacher seating on both sides of the field, and so there's always room for more people by squeezing together. Also, many fans stand at the fence that rings the field and never really leave those spots, which also creates more room within the bowl. Using last year as a reference point, the day-long activities began at 11 a.m., and the gates to Latrobe Stadium opened at 5 p.m. The Steelers arrived for practice around 6:30 to 6:40 p.m., there was a 15-minute autograph session, and then practice began at 7 p.m. Also last year, tickets for practice were $5 and were available for purchase at Latrobe Stadium throughout the day. I'm confident you'll be able to secure tickets for Friday Night Lights on the day of the event, and I hope you enjoy the experience. Steelers 53-man roster prediction with depth chart after minicamp 2024. The Steelers' mandatory minicamp has just wrapped up, marking the end of a crucial part of the offseason. We're now only a couple of months away from the training camp kicking off at St. Vincent, which will be another significant step in preparing for the upcoming season. With several roster moves happening over the past week, the team is starting to take shape. Here is a prediction of how the Steelers' 53-man roster would look if the season started today. Quarterbacks: 3 Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Kyle Allen. The Steelers typically maintain 3 quarterbacks on their 53-man roster. Given the challenges faced last year with injuries, and considering the entirely new quarterback room this season, it's essential to leverage the updated rule allowing teams to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. This approach not only provides a buffer against potential injuries but also ensures that the team has adequate depth and readiness at the quarterback position. Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris are definite locks for the roster and are poised to be focal points of the offense. In light of the new kickoff changes, Omar Khan and his team ensured they stayed ahead of the curve by signing Cordarrelle Patterson, one of the league's greatest kickoff returners ever. This strategic move is a direct response to the recent rule changes, aiming to maintain a competitive edge on special teams. In an Arthur Smith offense, tight ends always play a crucial role and tend to thrive. The Steelers currently have 4 unique tight ends, each bringing different strengths to the team. Considering how important this position group is to Smith's offensive strategy, I expect the team to keep all 4 tight ends on the roster, even though it's not something they usually do. This highlights the significance of tight ends in making the offense effective and versatile. If the Steelers decide against pursuing a trade for a wide receiver, contrary to widespread expectations, I foresee their wide receiver group featuring multiple speedsters. This unit would showcase a blend of dynamic talents, several players known for their deep threat capabilities, a rookie specializing in the slot, and George Pickens, who appears poised to contribute in various roles this season. Given the team's anticipated preference for heavier offensive packages over the frequent use of empty backfields, the composition of this wide receiver core will be influenced by a variety of factors. Study: gauging Cam Heyward's value through analytics. Pittsburgh Steelers interior defensive lineman Cam Heyward has made it clear that he is looking for a contract extension. I usually refrain from these types of articles, considering our cap guru Dave Bryan covers the topic extremely well, including his thoughts on a possible Heyward contract extension that you should definitely check out. My goal is to use a statistical approach to see how Heyward has performed the last 3 seasons compared to the top-paid players at the position via over the cap. First, I wanted to see where Heyward stacked up among interior defensive linemen, IDL, at an average yearly value of $12 million or more in grades from Pro Football Focus, viewing their average pass rush and run defense grades the last 3 years along with total snaps over that span as their dot sizes. Several familiar names land on the top right of the visual, with the best balanced grades as pass rushers and run defenders, only 7 out of the 25 qualifying IDL doing so. This includes Heyward, with an especially strong 78.4 run defense grade that ranked second since 2021. The only player to top Heyward in the span was Rams IDL Aaron Donald, barely, 79.0. Donald, the future Hall of Famer, swallowed much more cap space prior to retirement, with a 31.7 average yearly value. The second highest number among IDL via over the cap is Chris Jones of the Chiefs, 31.8. Both Donald and Jones topped the pass rush grade since 2021, the former coming in at 91.6, Jones at 90.5. Quality pass rushing gets you paid. Heyward had a much lower, in comparison, 76.2 pass rush grade, a respectably above-average 10th ranking among IDL in the time frame. Seeing Heyward's $16.4 million average yearly contract value, the lowest number of players on the top right by a substantial amount, next least is 22.5, we get a sense of Heyward's financial desires being understandable from a stats perspective. A reasonable concern for the Steelers is age. Heyward is 35 years old, a historical number for IDL losing production. A case can be made that already occurred in 2023, though Heyward being hampered by injury hopefully was the primary reason as opposed to age. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Cam Heyward? Leave your opinion in the comments.